Guys, they said Paropo have summoned Olori Calabash maternal uncle before the Odua traditional court for asking why Ooni of Ife should use his ancient sword on minor issues. My people, wonder shall never end. Oh. The fact remains that if this information is true, it simply means that these people know what happened to Tadenikawo exactly, because information have it that when Queen Naomi called Kabiyesi to tell Kabiyesi that Tadenikawo fell down and he started bleeding from his nose. They rushed him to the hospital. They said Kabiyesi was panicking. The reason he panicked was not because of the fact that Tadenikawo fell, but because of all the warnings a lot of seers have warned him concerning this Tadenikawo and the recent dream that Queen Naomi had, and that revelation from Iyanifa. And another part that got Kabiyesi worried, that made him believe that there is something, is that he know that Tadenikawo is a great boy, who understand things and who can tell you certain things that happen in his dream. You know, this time they said when Kabiyesi rushed to Akure to go and meet with Queen Naomi, because they said when Queen Naomi called him, Queen Naomi was crying and Kabiyesi was bothered, So he got there, when he got there, they said he doesn't like the fact that Queen Naomi was crying. And when Tadenikawo got better, they asked him what happened. They said the father was asking him, were you not looking at where you're going? Why will you sleep like that? You know? And they said Tadenikawo told the father that someone pushed him, her. And information have it that she was just in that room with her mother. Then around the place that she fell down, there was nobody there. But he kept insisting that a woman pushed him down. So at that point, Kabiyesi knew that there is something spiritual behind that fall, that it is not an ordinary fall. And let's not forget that these are traditional people who reads meaning in everything, and they make inquiries over everything, you know. So at that point, they said Kabiyesi said okay. They said Kabiyesi went on inquiries. And when he find out that there is something behind that fall is not ordinary, and the aim of that fall is to stop that forthcoming rituals. You know that some people said it's next week, while others are saying that it will be towards the end of this month, that there is this particular ritual that Kabiyesi is supposed to do for his first son, which is Tadenikawo. Even though Olori Calabash have been contending it, as in claiming that Kabiyesi will not do it only for Tadenikawo, that he will also do it with his own son. So Kabiyesi have to bring out his ancient sword after his inquiry, and after finding out that that fall is not an ordinary fall, it's not a mere coincidence. So he speak into his ancient sword and ask the ancient sword to go and fish out whoever that is involved and deal with that person. Maybe he did not tell the ancient sword to buy the person, because the story would have been a different thing altogether. And let's not forget that it was that night, the next day he celebrated his ninth year on the throne. That same night was when Olori Calabash's son started having series of convulsion. They said it was about 8 times in one night. In one night. Shortly after that, the next day, they said the Olori Calabash, started having a swollen tongue. Her tongue started swollen and coming out. Do you know what that means? If this information is true, it simply means that there is something that she needs to tell the king. And when they call Kabiyesi to tell Kabiyesi, the first thing Kabiyesi asked was, what did she do? Let her confess. What did she do? Now, after that, we heard that her uncle, there's this particular uncle from her maternal side, from what we heard, visited Paropo. When that uncle went to Paropo's house, they said the first thing he asked Paropo was, why will you allow your son to always make use of this ancient sword, even at little things, that if he does not stop, that he is going to hurt his own son, his own, that he's going to hurt his own family, like that. And Paropo did not get it at first. They said Paropo asked him again, what did you say? And they said the man told Paropo again, why do you allow your son to always use the ancient sword at a very little things? That if he continues like that, that he is going to hurt his own, as in his own family. They said at that point, Paropo now asked the uncle, so trying to find out what happened to Tadenikawo is a minor thing, or telling the ancient sword to go and fight whoever that is fighting Tadenikawo. Tadenikawo is Kabiesi's first son. Oh. So that is minor thing. That was what they said. Paropo asked the uncle. The uncle said, is it every little thing that the children used to fall, children used to bleed, this and that? At that point, they said Paropo called his two other sons. It's like they were present, they were in his house, but maybe they were not there when the uncle came. When they came, they said they started asking the man, what do you mean by that question? And they said the man refused to speak again. At that point, maybe he have recovered, he have find out that this thing is enough to need him. So at that point, they said they asked him and he couldn't say anything. Then Paropo decided that it is high time he come and explain that question, because that question is deep. It has a whole lot of explanation. But since he is not ready to speak before his sons, that he will be able to speak before the Odua traditional court. So information have it that Kabiesi summoned him before the Odua traditional court to come and tell them why Kabiesi should not be using his ancient sword in little issues like that, according to him. And if Tadenikawo's strange those things that happened to him is a little thing. See, one thing I do know is that Olori Calabash, she's not a good person. Despite everything that she did to Queen Naomi, to stop Queen Naomi from returning back to her matrimonial home, yet that God that never fails, that blessed that marriage with Tadenikawo, knew that a day like this will come. And they think that whatever they serve or believe in is going to, how will I put it, is going to overcome God when God is fighting for Queen Naomi's freedom and everything. Anyways, let's just continue watching. One thing I do know is that before the end of this story, which we doesn't know if it is going to end in 10 years time or 20 years time, but my prayer is that let God keep us alive. Time will tell. Queen Naomi will be victorious over all of them, and God have a way of settling things like this. Anyway, guys, that is what we're hearing. Don't forget that these are all alleged information. Always bear that in mind. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, follow my page, and share this video. I love you guys. Bye. See you.